You. Well, we know all too well from watching and reporting the news that life can get really serious at times. We don't have a lot of downtime. The downtime we do have, we usually spend it on our phones, watching TV. But rejuvenating playtime is really important for our well-being no matter your age. UW Health distinguished psychologist Dr. Shyla Mergain is back here today to help us unpack this sometimes overlooked but very important conversation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. You know, all work and no play makes for a very boring day, and kids are great teachers of the importance of play, and adults, we can build that back into our lives.
Absolutely. So what are some of those health benefits for building some playtime back into our lives?
Well, physically we find that just play, which is purposeless activity with no goal, you're just filled in the moment in joy, can release depression, it can reduce depression, it can boost creativity, it can help us color outside the lines so we can approach problems in a different kind of way. And I think it can also strengthen our relationships. It can quickly turn a stranger into a friend, and for long-term relationships inject some vitality and enthusiasm to feel more intimacy and closeness.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of this is it being unstructured, but I know myself, I'm like, what do you do? What does playtime for adults look like? What are some of those activities that people could start to consider working into their lives?
Well, first, think about scheduling a time to do it, maybe once a week or once a month. Think about things you enjoyed as a child that you could do again. Invite people, so maybe you have a board game night, or maybe you pick up a hobby that you used to enjoy, or try something new. Maybe you just go to an art class, or go on an unstructured walk and see where that takes you. And so it's really the intention of just relishing using your senses and injecting some joy. And even workplaces, we know when workplaces will bond with some play, I know you do that a lot here, that there's better morale, there's more productivity, people are less likely to have sick days or leave the office. So maybe you schedule something after work and say, hey, let's go do some bowling, or let's do a craft together. And again, that really revitalizes not just you, but those relationships.
Absolutely. You know, like you mentioned, this is something kids are really good at. Kids love playing. What lessons can we learn from them as we observe their playtime to kind of, you know, apply those lessons to ourselves?
Well, first, to encourage your kids to play, we find in the last half century that kids play has gone down, and there are a correspondence with an uptick in mental health concerns and behavioral issues in kids and adults and kids and adolescents. So as adults, we want to encourage them to really engage, and then maybe join them in an activity. So it could even be a neighborhood child, or maybe you have a costume party around Halloween with some of your neighborhood children. And so look at how a child will take any object into play, and you can mimic them and model that for them too by putting away the phones, sitting down, and maybe doing that board game or that craft together.
If someone's listening to this and they say, this sounds great, but my life is really packed, we're going from activity to activity to activity, how much time do people need to be setting aside for some of this unstructured playtime?
Yeah, and sometimes we can be stuck in a rut and so focused on the to-do list that even just 20 minutes, you know, get out a sketch pad and do some drawing, or maybe find a new board game and do it, or invite a friend over and have a little dance party, or even you can have some playtime with your cooking, inviting a sense of play into everyday activities. It doesn't have to take long, but notice the boost in mood and focus and joy in your life just by kind of setting aside the problems, and when you come back to your life, you might just think about things in a more creative, innovative way.
Yeah, what you just said, it actually reminded me, the last time you were here, we talked about the benefits of vacation. When I think about vacations I go on, they tend to have more of that unstructured time where you're just enjoying, you know, the senses where you are. So it's kind of taking some of those lessons and applying them to our everyday lives a little bit.
Exactly, and so just carve out time, maybe in the next week, and just enjoy that playtime.
Do you have any particular activities you like the most for your unscheduled playtime?
Well, I love the pool this time of year, and I have a toddler, so being with her with all the water toys just delights me and just makes those memory maker moments that will last for a lifetime.
Absolutely. Shyla, thank you so much for being here today. We always appreciate it.
Me.
Definitely a good lesson for all of us.